Hey guys, here we are again. So this is our second lesson for the week. It's going to be lesson 20, 21, and 22. I know it's 3 lessons. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's all about combining like terms and factoring and stuff that you really already know. Okay? So don't be too worried about this. Okay? So 20.1, why is it true? Explain each statement, why each statement is true. Okay, so it's saying that all 4 of these statements are true, and I'm going to write a lot of terms. Okay, actually, I'm probably going to type a lot of terms if I can type them. No, I'll probably have to write them. That you should know that we're just going to keep reviewing. Okay, so the first one is 5 plus 2 plus 3 equals 5 plus parentheses 2 plus 3. So this is we'll come up here. This is the associative property. The associative property. Okay. So we know we usually add left to right. So 5 plus 2 would be first. Okay. But this property tells us we can group addition differently and still get the same result. Okay? So pause the video here so you can write that down. I'm going to erase it. Oh, hold on. Okay. So number 2, 2a is equivalent to 1a minus 2a. Okay. So now we're on number 2. This is the distributive property. Where 11a minus 2a is actually equal to 9a. Okay? Pause if you want to write that down. So number 3, 7a plus 4 minus 2a is equivalent to 7a plus negative 2a plus 4. Okay, so the subtraction can be written by adding the opposite and the order can be switched with the commutative property. Okay? So really, this is just saying the same thing with different signs. Okay, that's pretty easy to see. Pause if you need to. Okay. Last one. So if you solve all of this out, you're going to see that you get back to 8, okay? So subtracting a negative is the same as adding its opposite. We know that. And applying the distributive property means that this is actually saying 8a minus 8a plus 8, and that all gets you to 8, because those are going to cancel, and that's your answer. Okay? So moving right along, we are going to skip this one, so we don't have to look at that. Okay. So now we're going to make sides equal. We've done this a lot before. Super simple. Set A, set B. If you were in class, we'd be doing this with partners, but obviously we're not. Okay. So what makes A true? So 6x plus what x equals 10. So we're going to have 6x plus 4x equals 10x. Okay. Number 2, same idea, only we're going to have to add a negative number, right? So 6x plus what equals 2x? So 6x plus a negative 4x equals 2x. I like to put those negatives in parentheses because it's easier to see. For me, you don't have to. Okay, so number 3, 6x plus what equals negative 10x? So now you're going into the negatives, so you're going to have to add an even larger negative number. So 6x plus a negative 16x equals negative 10x. Okay, 4 should be pretty simple and straightforward. 6x plus a negative 6x equals 0. And then the last one. So be really careful on these. You're going to have a couple on your homework where some of them are going to have an x and some of them are going to not have an x attached. So this one doesn't have an x attached. So what we're going to say is 6x plus a negative 6x is going to equal 0. Because if you don't have that x, it's not going to equal 0. Okay? All right, so set B are going to look very similar, but now they want you to just leave the negative in there. Okay, so we're subtracting instead of adding. So 6x minus 4x equals 2x. Okay, pretty simple. So 6x minus what equals 10x? Okay, so 6x minus 4x equals 10x. If you're paying attention, I forgot to add another negative. So this should actually look like 6x minus a negative 4x equals 10x. It is saying the same thing as 6x plus 4x equals 10x, just with the negative in there, okay? So number 3 is going to be 6x minus 5x equals x, or this is also known as 1x. There's always an invisible 1 or a coefficient 1 in front of a variable, okay? Next one's a little bit more tricky. You're going to have 6x minus 6x minus 6 equals 6. It's the same as the last one with the negatives, okay? If you solve this side out, you're going to get 6. And the last one is 6x minus 2x plus 10 equals 4x minus 10. Okay? Not too bad. So we're going to move along to the next lesson now. Okay. So your homework, instead of it being in the Google Slides like it was, it's actually going to be in Google Quiz. It's not going to be a quiz, obviously. It'll be multiple choice. It's going to be a lot easier. So watch out for that. So I'm going to close this real quick. I'm going to open up the drive. And we're going to start with 21.1. Okay. So here it wants you to select all statements that are true. Okay. So the first one, think about that one for a second. You're going to distribute this through. See what you get. And it is true because the 2 must be multiplied by 3 and 7 because of the distributive property. Each product must be subtracted. Okay? Pause here if you need to. I'm going to erase. Oh. Okay. So number 2, solve that one out in your head. Look at the equation. Look at the numbers. It is also true because subtracting 2 is the same as adding a negative 2. Then the distributive property is applied. Okay? Pause if you need to so you can get that. Number 3 is false because the 2 times 7 needs to be subtracted. Okay, so this needed to be subtraction, not addition. Okay? And number 4 is true because the 2 here is distributed, but the parentheses indicate that the result of 2 times 3 plus 7 is subtracted. Okay? Not too bad. We are skipping 21.2 and we are going to 21.3. Number 1. We are skipping number 2, so we are just doing number 1. Okay, so Diego was taking a math quiz. There was a question on the quiz that had an expression 8x minus 9 minus 12x plus 5. Diego's teacher told the class that there's a typo and the expression was supposed to have a set of parentheses in it. Where should that set of parentheses go? Okay, so where could you put the parentheses to make that equivalent? So there's a lot of different ways to do this. We're skipping number 2. Okay, so I'm just going to write down here. Okay, so one way you could do that is to say 8x minus 9 minus 12x plus 5. That's equivalent. You're just putting parentheses around everything. Okay, or you could say 8x minus 9 minus 12x plus 5. Okay, those are 2 ways that I chose to do. There are more ways if you want to figure them out. Okay, but I don't want to keep you here forever. So that is actually the end of that lesson. So all of your practice problems for 2021 and 22 are going to be, I'm going to select the ones I want you to do, and they're going to be in that quiz. So just look for that. Okay. It'll be nice to have your book out, but don't worry about it. Okay. 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 Unit 6, lesson 22. Some more combining like terms. Okay. So here you need to select all expressions that are equal to negative or 8 minus 12 minus 6 plus 4. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways you could do this. You could just look at them and see what you think is equivalent. You could solve it out. So 8, using distributive property, 8 minus 12 minus 6 minus 4. Okay. So we see, oh, look at that, number 2. And there's one other way you could do this. So if you look, it doesn't really matter what the order of these are because they're all subtraction. So you can change the order, and number 5 is also going to be an answer. Okay, if you had 1 that was addition, that wouldn't work. Okay, you'd have to, the order would matter. But since they're all negative, it doesn't matter. Okay. So we're going to do some matching. Okay, so this is pretty much just process of elimination. Okay, so I'm not going to actually work these out because I think you guys can do that. If you have questions, let me know, and we can also do it on the Zoom on Thursday. Okay, so A is 1 when you work all that out. Okay, B is 6 using the distributive property. Distribute that through. You'll see that you get those 2 terms there. Okay, C is 5. Okay, again, distribute the negative out. Okay, D is 4. Okay, you're really just moving stuff around in this one. And this one is kind of showing you basically that as long as you keep the sign, okay, as long as you keep the sign in front of the number or term, it's okay to move things around. Okay, it's kind of what that one's trying to show you. E comes out to be the same as 2, and then F is 3. Okay, we pull a 6 out of those X terms, 2 out of the Y term. Okay, this is nothing new. We've kind of been doing this already. Okay, so that's why I don't feel so bad going quickly through it. Okay, so now for 22.3, we're going to actually write these with their factors in them. Okay, so number 1, you can see that there is a common factor of 15. So we're going to move the common factor 15 out of each term. Okay, 15, 15, 15. Okay. And then combine the other factors to get 3 plus 4 minus 5 times 15, which is going to give you 2 times 15, which equals 30. Okay? Pause there if you need to. Okay. Number 2. So move the common factor x. So this is a good point on this one, that the common factor doesn't always have to be a number or the least common denominator. It can be a term as well. So the only thing that's going to work in this is the term x, because it's going to be really hard or impossible to find the least common denominator or a least common multiple, for this problem. Okay, so take the x out and then combine all other factors, and you get 3 plus 4 minus 5x. All of that is going to equal 2x. When you solve that all the way through, you're going to get 2x. Okay? So that's it, guys. 3 lessons in 1. It's not going to be that bad. This is all review from algebra. Next week, we will have a test. It'll be in Google Quizzes. I'll put it up on Monday. It'll be due on Friday. It's going to be multiple choice. Don't stress about it. You guys will be just fine. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you later.